Factionalism within the ANC in the Western Cape poses a serious threat. That's at least the warning from the party's outgoing interim committee convener in the province, that's Lerumo Kalako. This weekend, the ANC in the Western Cape held its conference where Lerumo declined the party's provincial chair nomination. This comes as ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa praised members for hosting what he reckons was a successful conference. The ANC in that province has been run by an interim leader, or interim leadership structure, I should say, for years. For more on his thoughts, Kalako joins us now via our video link. And it's great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. In fact, you're being quoted in some of the reports we have before us as saying something a bit stronger. You say factionalism is the root cause for why the ANC in the Western Cape is the weakest in the country. I wonder whether you reckon that the electorate is now somehow meant to believe that this major issue, this Achilles heel, is no longer an issue post this conference.
No, look, that is the fact what I was in my political report, that within the ANC we have been deemed as the weakest province. But that had changed if you take us going to the national conference. For the first time, we could come up with a membership which at least it's more or less the same numbers when you compare it with your Free State or compare with your Northern Cape. It's no longer that we will be on the bottom. So that shows how much work has been done by the interim provincial committee which was put there. But the most challenge were factions, in fact, because we have not done away with these factions, but we tried as an interim structure to manage factions in a way that they allow the organization to breathe, to have its own life independent of factions. Even within our committee, as an interim committee, we were bedeviled by those factions, but if we didn't have and come up with a method of handling those factions within that leadership couldn't have survived until it's able to fulfill its major task of taking the province to conference. And you cannot take the province to conference without having viable, functioning branches on the ground.
Yeah. So are you saying that the strength of the party in the province is measured against how many members you have?
That yes, because in fact in any party, because look, let me tell you, you can't run a campaign from a vacuum. If you want to run a successful campaign of elections, you must have the personnel on the ground. That is why our fighters, we must be existing in the length and breadth of this province. We must make sure that in each and every ward there's an existence of ANC branches.
Sure.
So that when you launch a campaign, those people who stay there, who are members of the ANC, who are known by that community, in that locality, in that particular ward, are able to launch and persuade voters there to vote for the ANC. You can't do it in any other way. There's no magic word to do that.
That's interesting, because I can imagine some people asking the question, what happened to evaluating the quality of members that you have? People with integrity, people who have an interest in building the party from the inside and not breaking it down, because a few years ago there was this goal at a national level to ensure that the leadership or the membership of the ANC is that I think it was 1 million. But a few years after that, there was a reckoning within the party that perhaps getting any million people who want to be in the organization is not a good idea, in a context where we now start talking about the kind of people in the ANC.
No, you are correct. ANC, if you go back to the diagnosis report of the then Secretary General in the ANC policy conference and also in the conference, Gwede Mantashe, when he was a secretary, it actually unpacked those problems which are faced by the ANC. That in the quest to expand your membership, we actually, and have a big organization, you open up at the same time to other wrong elements coming into your organization. That is why you are bedeviled by many problems which are actually completely astray from our own moral values. Others, they actually break our policies and constitution. So that was the result of gunning for that million membership, which of course was not a wrong thing from the party. But we didn't realize what, of course, we have always knew that ANC, as it is in power, is going to attract all sorts of people. Others will come to the ANC not because they accept and like and associate with the ANC policies, that they can actually, those policies can address the problems of the people, especially the poor and marginalized people in our community.
Absolutely.
But they come for their own. They have seen that to be in the ANC. Next time I'm a councillor. Next time I'm a member of parliament. Next time I'm a minister. I'm a MEC. Or next time I'm in leadership of the ANC, because it puts me in proximity with those who are actually deployed in the levers of state and power, so that I can be able to lobby for tenders. They see it as a thing. That's why we have this term of tenderpreneurship. That term simply means, with the ANC coming to power, there have been another element in our society and community which emerged, of people who think they can do business by corrupting the processes of the ANC.
Sure. So let's circle back to the Western Cape then. In your attempts to grow the party, because you've just admitted that is what you use to measure the strength of the organization, how are you making sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes, essentially?
Look, we have put, when we identified this problem, ANC, for instance, began to go, was one of the mistakes we did. I think as from the unbanning of the ANC, we did the ANC, when it was banned, solid departments, especially the Department of Political Education and Training. Members were being taken through to that training, but when we were in government, we neglected that. And that department died its own natural death. There were no longer political training in the ANC. And political training is nothing else. It means you train your membership on your policies, on your constitution, on your ideology, and on your aims and objectives, so that everybody comes in knowing very well, I'm here because of 1, 2, 3, 4, because of these aims.
Has that happened in the Western Cape?
In the Western Cape, we have been for a long time now. It has not been happening until we were installed. In fact, it's not only the Western Cape, even nationally. But what has happened, ANC tried to address that, has established the OR Tambo School. With you can enter it with a syllabus there on the history of South Africa, ANC, and the country, so that in policies, principles, moral values of the ANC, so that you are taken through that. That's the thing which it was said the provinces actually must pursue, guided by OR Tambo School, which is headed by Comrade David Masondo nationally.
Yeah.
But even that, it has been difficult to implement that.
Sure. I mean, if it sounds to me that you've managed to tick a lot of the boxes that are fundamental to growing the kind of party you'd be proud of to be a part of. Is there a reason there why you declined that nomination for the chairperson position?
No, look, there is a reason. Look, in fact, I was wanting that position. I could have been easily the chair.
Oh?
Yes, I've been nominated. There's no candidate which was nominated more than me in that position.
So why turn it down?
No. Well, firstly, I turned it down because actually I told myself, let me begin now to focus to myself and my family. I've never done that. Since I've been involved in this struggle thing, I've never done that. I said this is time also. I can continue to be a member of the ANC. I'll be contributing in the ANC, even in the campaign now. I'll be being deployed in programs by the present leadership to do work here in the province and the metro. So that was my decision, to actually say, look, let me give others a chance to move with this. Look, I've been in this leadership of the ANC, especially this province, since unbanning. You can imagine the toll it takes on you who trying to sort these problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
It certainly seems like a tall ask. Bowing out in generosity, I suppose. Lerumo Kalako, thanks for speaking to us. Appreciate your time on this Monday morning on the AM Report. Lerumo is the now outgoing committee convener of the ANC in the Western Cape.